Anuradha Vedic Astrology. Today, we are going to talk about the important planets, signs, and houses that we need to consider when we're talking about medical astrology. But before that, a big thanks to all of you for subscribing to our YouTube and Spotify channels and liking, sharing our videos and our audios. If you haven't subscribed to our YouTube and Spotify channels, please do that, and don't forget to press on the bell icon so that you can get the updates as and when the videos and the audios are released. So, what are the most important planets that we need to consider when we are talking about a chart from the point of view of medical astrology? When we are talking about medical astrology, the most important planet one needs to consider is the sun. The sun represents the vitality factor in the chart. If the sun is weak, if the sun is afflicted, if the sun is damaged in many senses, that if it is with Rahu, overpowered by Rahu, in that case we find that the person's vitality, the person's basic health issues are very strong in the chart. And in such a case, it becomes very important for the person to remain in the sun for long periods of time. It is very important that the person does Suryara or also does Surya Namaskar. These are the ways you can improve on your vitality. Yoga is very nice because as per the Surya Namaskar, it enhances one's vitality. I've already made a video on Surya Namaskar, so you can look into it there. Moon. Moon represents the mind. Moon also represents your immunity system in the body, as it has control over your glands. So if your immunity system is weak, it must be reflecting in the chart as per a weak moon. A weak moon also talks about a mind that can get easily disturbed due to health issues, due to stress, and that will have an effect on your immune system. Because there's a big theory about fight and flight. We can read about all that and go deep into detail. Essentially, moon talks about our immune system. Weak moon reflects on a weak immune system. So that does not, when we are undergoing stress, when we have a lot of issues, health issues, then we move very quickly towards being ill, because the body is not able to counter those effects. Now, we also need to talk about Mercury. Mercury? Yes, Mercury. Why Mercury? Because Mercury happens to be the lord of the third house of the sixth house of the natural zodiac. Mercury is a planet. If it is wrongly placed, if it is combust, if it is afflicted, then it definitely shows a lot of issues regarding health in your chart. We will be making a separate video about placement of Mercury if it is badly afflicted in a chart, all that it can show. But know that Mercury is very important when we talk about health issues. Mercury generally has a lot to say, and we do not give it that importance. That's a problem that we will be facing in medical astrology. When we talk about signs, the sign that is most important is the sign of Virgo. Why is Virgo important? Again, as I said, that it is the sixth house of the natural zodiac, and it shows our health issues. We need to understand that it also shows our habits. So people can always think that yes, Virgo is afflicted, so we are having issues. No, if there is a malefic present in Virgo, that means your health habits are at a disarray. You do not have good health habits, and are possible of, there's a huge amount of possibility of you creating your own health issues. You need to be very sure about the planet there. See what kind of problems you are creating. Like if there is Rahu in the sixth house, if there's Rahu in Virgo, what could it mean? That you could be binging, you cannot be sticking onto your health regime, and that can be causing a lot of problems to you. The second sign that we're talking about is the sign of Pisces. Pisces, because Pisces is the 12th house. It talks about the end of life. Not just that, it also talks about hospitalization. So one has created enough problems in Virgo to move towards hospitalization, or suddenly one can find that they are having issues which would lead to hospitalization. If they are malefics in the sign of Virgo, in the sign of Pisces, then one has to be careful in dealing with their health habits. Now, let us talk about the houses that are important. When I talk about Virgo, correlate to that, the sixth house is also important. We need to pay a huge amount of attention to the sixth house, the house of diseases, but it is also the house of health. So again, it bears a repetition that we need to see that our health habits are also good, so that we can improve ourselves and not fall ill. The 12th house is the house of hospitalization. Malefics in the 12th house, cause it is the house of wear or waste. So the malefics in the 12th house will will make sure that you end up spending a lot on hospitalization or on doctors and a lot of tests, etc. So there we need to show a little bit of caution, take good care of our health before we move on. The 8th house is equally important. Why is the 8th house important? The 8th house shows chronic diseases or genetic disorders. So when the 8th house comes into function, we can be sure that it can give us those diseases that can be long drawn. For example, Saturn is the karaka of the 8th house. If Saturn is sitting in somebody's 8th house, they say the person is long lived, but the person would also undergo a lot of health issues, such health issues that can be drawn for a long period of time and can create a person a lot of pain. In that case, those issues have to be dealt with, they have to be lived through. But issues relating to our 6th house, issues relating to our 12th house, because any planet sitting in the 6th looks into the 12th and vice versa. They can be understood at the root, and one can then put in good habits into place so that the effect that is felt is at its minimum. Do write to us. Let us know how you felt about the video, and we'll meet again. Till we do that,
Please hit the bell icon for fresh updates. Don't forget to like, share, and comment on the videos, and please subscribe to our channel.